For the record, is this the episode where I got kicked out?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Just checking.
No, we thought we'd get you on specifically for like Final Five.
I just have some great takes that the fans love.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll be back.
Yeah. Well, that's up to Lenny. If you got to really impress Lenny, and then you might be joining us every single week.
It's a Harvard.
Might
Another
be replacing
co-host.
me. Okay, well, welcome to what are we on? Do you reckon episode 14? Surely.
I have no idea, Mike, to be honest with you.
Well, welcome to episode 14 of the If You Know, You Know podcast, examining this week, obviously, Survivor Southampton Season 2, episode 14. Is it even episode 14? No, I think it's episode 13. Yeah, it's episode 13. Okay. Welcome
Right.
welcome
You're
to
just recording next week's intro already.
welcome to episode 13 of the If You Know, You Know podcast. And this week, joining us, we have your host of Survivor Southampton, the higher power that would never turn on sock. It's Mike Price. Cheers. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure, as always. And joining me as ever, the man who is the man who is planning on taking on Big Dog's core alliance, and in selecting his main ally for the battle, was choosing between the man who'd been loyal to him for a whole season versus a man who just led a charge against 3 of his own former tribe mates, voted for an immune player, and been given an idol clue that he hasn't read for 2 episodes now. Obviously, he saves the latter person. It's Lenny Greenfield. Thanks for joining me again, Lenny. And our special guest this week, Survivor Southampton Season 1's 4th place, Season 2's 3rd juror, and the man who, if I were to ever play, would be the first person I'd speak to, Oscar Josky Martin. Welcome.
Yay. I was wondering whether the word coward would be thrown into the intro or not. I'm glad to see it didn't surface.
Surely we just got to start with that. I mean, I can't believe it still.
Just to reset it for any of our audience, last week's episode, where Ben had some hot takes about Oscar's game.
Well, I mean, I joined our pro clubs, and Lenny and Big Dog were both saying about how Ben had some interesting stuff to say this week on the podcast. And I just had no idea what to expect, really. And then I watched a clip about an hour ago, and it was a great watch, really. I just didn't know where it came from. I didn't know I'd wronged Ben so much.
Yeah,
I realized he was the most frustrated by me in the entire game.
I didn't know you had it in you to make someone that angry, to be honest with you.
Neither did I, but I didn't hate it, though. It's quite funny, really. But yeah, it was interesting to be called a coward. That's not how I felt it was going, but I can kind of see the side.
Does it encourage you, if you were to ever play again, to play like even more of an arsehole to try and get people more angry at you?
Specifically
Have you got a taste
towards
for it now?
Ben, or
Yeah, potentially.
I'll be an absolute angel to everyone else. I'll agree with everyone, but if it comes to Ben, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Every time Ben throws out a name, just like, no, definitely not that person.
No, I think we should vote for Ben, guys. No, I don't know. I liked my tactic. I went into this season I wanted to go for maybe it was naive, but I wanted to go in and I wanted to be able to take the moral high ground, and I just wanted to stick to my guns, and I didn't want to have to. I knew that it wasn't going to get me to the end, and I knew that I would have to come up with something else. But I mean, part of the strategy was just it aligns with I just like being nice, but B, I was just trying to think of a game-winning plan as I saw how it went along.
Yeah, how are you doing, Oscar?
But no, I've been pretty good. Went skydiving on Saturday, so that was fun.
Shit.
Fucking
That was
hell.
really cool. Unreal. Though the photos are awful. There's like I was wearing these goggles that went over my glasses, and because of all the air like pushing up on your face and pushing my face, but then the goggles get in the way and don't let my skin go anywhere else. My
Oh,
face
right.
is really deformed. It's not. And
It's not
that's
ideal.
those photos are saying off the podcast is what I'm gonna say.
Was it in aid of anything, like a charity, or were you just able to go?
No, it's actually been just about 2.5 years in the making. I bought it as like a little present for myself after third year exams. Didn't get around to doing it for a year and a half. And then when I went to do it last year, I was literally stood there about to be on the next plane up, and the plane broke down. And the spare plane wasn't there because they'd lended it out to someone, and the thing to restart the plane battery also wasn't there because they'd lent it out somewhere else. So they cancelled it whilst I was literally meant to be the next one there. And
Oh,
so finally, a year later, I got around to doing it again. Apparently, before I got there, the demister was broken, but they luckily sorted that out by the time I was there. So it all went ahead, and I jumped out of a plane from 15,000 feet, and it was insane.
wow.
It was quite nice weather on Saturday, wasn't it?
It was. It ended up being really clear. Literally on the flight up, you could just see everything. And then I thought we were really high up, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're a third of the way there now." And
Oh,
everything
Jesus.
just kept on going. But yeah, it was insane because you're just falling at 120 miles an hour with like nothing to hold
Oh,
until the parachute comes out.
that is terrifying.
Yeah,
Was this over like London, or was it in the countryside?
it was over Salisbury actually. Um,
Oh, okay.
It's
yeah,
nice.
so you could see Southampton in the distance as well.
Yeah.
Could see Stonehenge as well. So yeah, it's just really cool. How are you guys doing?
Had a bit of a
Yeah,
less exciting weekend than that. I've already actually forgotten what I did. Oh, yeah. No, yeah, nothing that exciting. Saw a couple of friends recently. That's about it. No one from
Lovely.
Survivor Southampton though.
That is a shame.
I had quite a less exciting weekend than you as well. Went to Portsmouth,
Oh, lovely.
saw my friend's birthday, my dad's birthday.
Are they with the same person or is that
No, different people. Just good timing.
nice? Say joint birthday party? Or
No, no, I'm afraid not.
that's a
Um,
shame.
Did they have the
yeah,
same birthday, or was it on two different days?
two different. So my dad's birthday was last Wednesday, but
Oh, okay.
um,
Really dragging it on, huh?
yeah,
The
honestly,
party was still going by the time Lenny arrived on Saturday.
what is he like? What is he like?
It's still
Um,
going on now, but then he had to go out.
Yeah, I'll be headed down there myself in like a week.
I booked him for the weekend after that.
Steve loves it, to be fair. But he's finished the kitchen now, so that's quite
Oh,
exciting.
I remember hearing about that ages ago.
Yeah, yeah, no, he really is. It's not quick progress, but it's progress.
I was going to say, was this the building work that you promised you would be involved in episode one of Survivor Southampton season two that is now finally being completed?
Yeah, well, we actually made very good progress in the month that I was there. In that time, we knocked down the old extension and then rebuilt it. But then I went to uni, and my dad may have lost a little bit of motivation. So it's not been the quickest progress, especially in the last like 6 months. I feel like nothing's happened, but I think it's been about 9 years since he probably started.
Wow.
Must be quite emotional to see it finally all come together.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you how I feel about 2 years' time.
Have you had a hand in the design work?
No, I wouldn't be. My sister would obviously get the call up for that kind of thing. She's got some style, some class. I've got neither.
It wouldn't be decorated in the Basingstoke colours as
No, no. To be honest, I could probably convince my dad to do that if it wasn't for my sister.
Oscar, how is the job?
Yeah, it's going. It's quite fun at the moment. I just came out of a pretty long 2 week stint of a very tedious copy and pasting thing. Um, essentially we just had to do the same thing for like 100 different Excel sheets over the course of 2 weeks, and it's finally done. It's calmed down a bit, but it's still good fun. I'm able to code where I can. It's we got the
Nice.
Christmas party just been announced. That was exciting.
Okay.
Something to look forward to. But yeah, it's going well, thank you.
Ben's key point seemed to be he seemed to be very anti-alliance. I think he made some good points, but I think would you say that that kind of stance is a bit short-sighted in a game like Survivor Oscar, which is essentially kind of relies on alliances and working together with players? Like you could argue that the players that aren't doing it are kind of screwing themselves.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, you have to have people who will back you. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the situation I did when Noel had left, and you're just kind of floating around in the ether, and it's just an easy target, really. Also, I could, if I had been Ben's ally as opposed to Noel's ally, I wonder whether he would still be calling me a huge coward, and whether I would be his trusted and loyal ally that he was grateful for. So I think it just depends on the perspective.
Well, maybe if you had been Ben's ally, then last week we'd have had Sock on the podcast calling you a coward.
There's no universe here where whoever's kicked off in the previous episode isn't calling me a coward for the choices I made. All roads lead to Oscar being a coward at the end of episode 12.
The only way to get out of that is if you deliberately get yourself voted out in order to save that player, at which point everyone's still in the game is just like, well, Oscar's such a coward to get himself out.
Yeah,
It'd be me and you, Mike, call him a coward for 2 hours.
Like, there's no escaping it. I don't know. I liked being loyal, and it was something that I did in season one. And I mean, it got me far. But like I said, I knew it was never a game-winning strategy. But I didn't want to do any betrayals early on either, because I think I didn't want to. To be honest, I was really enjoying the challenges, and I just wanted to keep doing the challenges for as long as I could. There were some very good challenges, Mike. I have to give you credit there.
Well, we've
It's
given
a lot
you a
of
lot
fun.
of credit on this podcast with your ability in the challenges. You're a bit of a dominating force in the early rounds.
I was,
Um,
that's why I was enjoying them. I think I was just having a great time, and just I just wanted to keep doing them. I was gutted when I got voted off, because not because I was out of a shot at winning, but that was the end of my challenges.
It's the end of the challenge career streak. What was your
Exactly.
favorite challenge, Oscar, in the game?
The tug of war one, where you were stood on the little stools and you had to like pull. I felt like I'd mastered that one. That and the memory one as well, with all the shapes when you're running up and down and describing what you had. Those are my favorite too, I think. I've done similar things to that before, so I've got experience in that sort of tug of war with the platform. So I kind of had my strategy already and just tested out on the first one and kind of verified that it was a good strategy and just carried it on. Which is just let them pull themselves off. and and yeah, take that however you want it to.
Yeah, I think it's a good general strategy.
Lenny, what's so funny, Lenny?
Nothing. But if you're in the back, if you're in the Garden of Six Westridge Road, you should never be pulling yourself off.
And I didn't. That's what everyone else did when they came face to face with me.
The pulling off happens outside, but as we know, Lenny, the tugging off that happens inside. I wouldn't mind jumping back a little bit, Oscar, just into season one, because obviously, we had the pleasure of you joining us for both seasons so far. Could you just tell us a little bit about your experience in season one? Share with the viewers, what you learned and what you kind of took going into season two.
Well, I think part of what I learned in season one was that loyalty pays off, in that it can get you towards the end, and it's a strategy I kind of like. Also, season one was obviously very fun, so I came back for season two. But what I did learn for season one is that loyalty doesn't get you all the way. I obviously knew going into season two I'd have to mix it up a little bit as well. There's no way you're beating a man like Lenny if you've stood behind him for the entire show. The main thing I remember from season one is that frisbee challenge towards the end. That was with the pole, and just the glory of that. And I think that's what just every time I got into a challenge in season 2, I'd think back to that feeling, and it just would inspire me to give it my all, to be honest.
I can't believe you won that frisbee challenge
Well,
against.
it was pretty easy competition, if you ask me. It was it's just some GB players and that. So
Didn't Max get further than Carolina as well in that one?
Yeah, I feel like Carolina had a shocker
Yeah.
in that one. I mean, arguably Carolina, Beth, and Noel all had a shocker losing to a man that,
never played a
no
Bucks
offense,
game.
yeah.
Best experience was it more captaining the fours to a win against the threes, and then also captaining the
And
threes
then there is to lose against the Force. Well, you just pick up skills and the captaining the threes and the fours that you just don't get on the higher teams. And that was clearly evident by the fact I won that challenge with such ease. So
I saw they don't even have a fours this year.
do they
Southampton.
not?
No, I was looking
What's
on the
happened?
I was looking on the list the other day to see how many teams Leeds had entered, and not enough for Southampton. Though I did see Falmouth entered 2 teams into mix, so
Wow.
glorious return for them.
Yeah, good for them.
Damn. How did Skunksmith go? Was it a success? Have you heard
I
back
think
from
they
it?
did
Dunno.
okay. I think that the experience we had one experienced team that came second, and then the other did shit. And then I think
Mhm.
it might have been the same for the beginners. Like one of the beginners teams came second, the other one also did shit.
Well, if they'd had a captain of the the beginners like myself, then well, could have been a
Oh,
completely different story.
well, we were a dream duo for that
We
beginners
absolutely
team.
were, except for that very first pull that I did, where I threw it into the netting. I
That was just to encourage the freshers to do it.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know that it's okay to make
Yeah,
mistakes.
Every time I was just like, well, it can't be as bad as Oscar's.
I think that really helped with morale. So it's just our little dynamic duo of captaining is good cop, bad cop, or good cop, shit cop, I guess. But
I really enjoyed that one.
yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Oh, did you find out if you can come play Sicko this year, or are you going to Thorpe Park?
I'm going to the fireworks on the second because I realised I completely forgot about the thing.
The fireworks, bloody fireworks.
Fancy fireworks. I'll
surely
let
they can
you
reschedule the fireworks.
But I mean, who knows? Like, if I can get back in time, then maybe
Look, I'd recommend it
I'll let
personally.
you know.
You know, you get to see me, Noel,
It's the dream.
your former ally. Yeah, I won't. Well, I won't spoil the rest of the team, but you have to fight. You have to come and find out.
Well, you won't spoil the rest of the team for the podcast.
Yeah, I don't want people. You know, Brighton Ultimate might be scouted out.
You don't want too many fans turning up to try and get autographs.
Yeah, exactly. If they knew the big names that were coming down to Triangle Leisure Centre, there'd be swarms of people outside.
Well, all right, all the fans can calm down because unfortunately I'm not a name on that list. I'll be at a wedding on that weekend, so I'm unable
Oh.
to.
Congratulations on the engagement, by the way.
Yeah, I'll be attending someone else's wedding, not my own. Oscar, did you learn anything from Beth's winning game or Noel's performance in season one?
Well, they were better at holding a thing of water above their heads. And that was a challenge I knew I needed to win. I think that was that challenge.
No, you went out at final four. What was that one? That would have been, ooh, that was Mulkey, I think.
Oh
Oh,
no, that's traumatic.
that's really sad.
No, that's a game I really thought I was going to do well in, and then I didn't, and it was really heartbreaking. But I think I just came away from that thinking I just need to be better at challenges, really. And maybe that inner belief over the year led me to doing better in the following year. Because if you win the challenge, it doesn't matter what your game is until the end. To be fair, you can't win off of just challenges. But
I mean, to be fair, I think Beth was only not immune like 3 times in season one.
yeah, it was very, very impressive. I was very inspired.
So heading into season two, Oscar, who were you expecting to be present in the game?
I knew I wanted to find an idol, and I didn't. But that's fine. There are a lot more players this time around especially with the two I mean, it did help that our team won the first 6 games or however many, and you just didn't really have to think about it that much. Um, did feel a little shout out to Archie. I felt very bad for him because he'd been so excited to play Survivor Southampton and got voted out in his first one. And I felt it, honestly. I felt the blow because I'd been hearing him for weeks talk about how excited he was to finally play Survivor Southampton.
Oh,
It kind of crushed me a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But
the thing is, if I could go back and I'd have that choice again to vote Archie out, I would. Without
Archie,
hesitation.
if you're hearing this, Archie, then well,
I'd do it again.
But yeah, no, it was obviously a much bigger game, a lot of new faces as well. I felt like I knew the players better on this time round. I felt like in season one, I didn't know as many of the players that well, but I felt this time round, with the magic of five-a-side football and Fast and Furious, I felt I knew everyone pretty well going into this season. So I thought I'd be able to do a bit more of a tactical game. And then I just hid behind Noel, I guess. So I guess
I think the word is coward behind Noel.
coward. Yeah. No, I just wanted to. Once I had the ally from the start, I didn't want to betray. Really, thinking back, when Straff gave me that offer, thinking back, I probably should have taken it. I think that would have put me in a much better position going forward. But I was a man of my word and I stuck to it. If there was any decision I could have made that could have swayed the game better, it would have been siding with Straff in that moment. Because I think, although maybe it would have put a target on my back sooner than it did. So either way, it was a tough one. The mid game of it was always going to be tough.
The pre-merge of a tribe format, I would say of all the players, probably suits you the most, Oscar, as a fairly social player, but an extremely dominant player in the challenges. Like this is really where you come into your own, and I think it's what we see in the first 4 episodes where you win back to back to back to back. A lot of people have said that Strath is the key member of the Merak tribe for challenges, but if you'd have been on the Ruba tribe, Oscar, would they have done a lot better?
Oh, absolutely. Like I genuinely just like backed myself in a lot of those challenges. But yeah, I think it was definitely a team effort, but I do think that I was just very happy with my performance, put it that way.
If you swap me for Oscar, I reckon Merak lose the first 4 back to back to back to back.
Don't put yourself down like that, Lenny. But if I had to say the weak point, I would say it was definitely Ben Roberts, but it was
Ben Roberts really an anchor on that team. I've heard.
Yeah, he made me feel like rock bottom, I think. It was no, lovely guy, but he called me a coward.
I think he's just trying to start up a rivalry for season 3 already.
I know. I'll be in his crosshairs straight away, and I can't wait to do everything in my power to annoy him and only him.
Obviously, you'll be put on the same tribe.
Obviously.
Yeah, that's just good TV. You'd be a fool not to.
By chance, we've ended up on the same. What would you have made for lunch tomorrow if you weren't doing this?
Would have been chicken wraps. Well, I've got the ingredients in my fridge as we speak, but I'll just take in one of my bologneses for lunch tomorrow and then have chicken wraps for dinner.
You should do a special episode of the podcast where Lenny's making chicken wraps the entire time.
No one's allowed to say anything. It's just he's not allowed to give any instructions. He's just
I could do all my meal prep at once. I think that'd be quite exciting.
What if Lenny was blindfolded and taped his phone to his chest, and then we instructed him on how to cook his chicken wraps?
I've always wanted to just severely burn all of my hand.
Would your phone tape to your chest? I feel like maybe if you wedge a big ball of tape in the chest hole, then maybe.
Oh, do you know what, mate? Fuck you. Of course it still tapes my chest.
You've just got to use an extra meter of tape to go in and then back out.
It's an absolute joke. It's not that deep of a hole.
Or you can use blue tack, but it takes an entire ball to just stuff in.
You and Strath, Lenny, and you're having a conversation with Lucy. No, I think it is this one. It's you and Oscar.
Yeah,
and Lucy comes over and you're having a conversation and she asks you to step into the hole in the garden. That's how I imagine your chest hole to be. on that kind of scale.
It's like
To be fair,
Inception.
if the garden was my chest, I think that hole would be fairly similar to what it is on my chest. If anyone's interested in what my chest looks like, listening.
I was going to say for all of the listeners out there. Right, okay, Oscar, I'm keen to know, going into the season, obviously you said you wanted to find an ally, find someone to be loyal to. When you're sizing up your tribe, at what point did you decide that that person was going to be Noel?
I'll be honest, based on the previous season, I was not expecting that from me. I figured Noel would likely be the last person who would be the person I stood beside the entire time. But I don't know, he was just the way he spoke to me, I just knew I could trust him. It was
That's what Noel does.
but he chose me, Lenny. He chose me.
Well, this time it'll be different.
I don't know. I go back to the first round where you guys are all strategizing and Zhao ends up going where you're just like, do you know what? I'm going to protect Noel. Noel's not going anywhere, and then it cuts to Noel being like, we could get rid of Oscar here. So he did
Well,
not.
I bet he's glad he didn't.
Yeah, when we had Noel on, he seemed to be. He was surprised watching back some of it how loyal you were to him.
I was going through this season just with the logic of I'm a man of my word. If I said I'm going to stick by you, then I'm going to stick by you.
I mean, you kept Noel in the game basically. Like every time his name got brought up, you just went, no, we can't be voting. We can't vote Noel. No, that can't happen. And then no one did.
I mean, I'm keen to get both of your takes on this then. Do you think it helped or hindered you being tied to Noel? Because it helps you in the sense that, okay, when you did eventually get targeted, and Strath would have been coming for you anyway, but they went for Noel first. So I guess that worked out. But then secondly, were you simply targeted more because everyone knew that you were aligned with Noel?
I mean, I don't think I was really targeted up until I went out. I could be wrong, but it felt like I was not the risk, essentially. I felt like if anyone was going to get voted out between the two of us, it was probably going to be Noel. But like, I wasn't really part of the game plan. The game plan was genuinely, I said I'd stick by Noel, so I'll stick by Noel. Um, Loyal to a fault, I think, is. But yeah, I think maybe.
So you never had any intention of turning on Noel when it got close to the end of the game?
Well, I hadn't thought about it at that point, really. I was hoping I wouldn't have to, and that he would be the one getting voted off first. I was aware that if me and Noel were to get much further in that game, then I wasn't going to win simply by being sidled with Noel. So I knew it was a problem I'd have to deal with later, but I essentially just put it off, or didn't really need to solve it at that point.
Yeah.
It was what I was doing was working until it wasn't.
Lenny, any thoughts on that? Do you think it made Oscar a bigger target because he was with Noel? I mean, I guess like the Merak tribe were kind of getting rolled at this early merge point, so
Yeah,
it might not have mattered.
I think it's it's good to be in an alliance. I don't think there's a world where instead of Noel we vote out Strath and Oscar and Noel just keep going, picking up allies left, right, and centre. Shame that didn't happen.
I mean, to be fair, if this is season one, like you did get some merge, and Noel was proposing that the two of you join up with the core Ruba group, which is Big Dog, Lenny, Divya, Isaac. So had season one not happened, maybe Big Dog is keen on that, and then it does work out for you.
I was not letting that happen. I just wanted to vote Noel out. I just wanted to beat Noel.
Any tales or any happy memories or any takes from your days on the Merak tribe?
We had some fun times in Lenny's room. Just we ended up there quite a lot. So I think we played a bit of basketball on the back of his door. That was fun. Shared some tales, shared some laughs. You've lost it.
Yeah, I don't know where it's gone.
Unbelievable.
My door this year is perfect for it, but yeah, can't
have to get replacements.
Yeah.
What's the new room like, Lenny? Can you give us a little?
Yeah, I can. I'm in my bed at the moment. Nice wooden frame.
Lovely.
You can see there. We've got the TV over there. You can see that upside down, but
it's peeking out above the TV.
Oh, that's Jason Statham.
Yeah. I thought it was.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
He's looking good. We've got a wardrobe, a door,
Lovely.
some what is that? Train on blocker. Got the dartboard as well. Look at that.
Rona, can you hit a 180 quickly for us?
No, I can't. Unfortunately, not. It's
That's
not
a
even in the.
shame.
It's not in the right position. I put it over by the. I'm pointing. You can't see me. I put it over by the door over there. When I want to play, because the length of my room from the bed to the door is just about like the right length. So very convenient. Great spend of like £80. Well, £80 plus all of my Nectar points.
How many Nectar points did you have?
Quite a lot. I can't remember the exact amount, but
My
a lot of years of hard graft.
best use of Nectar points is Cafe Nero. For £2 of worth of Nectar points, you can get any drink there with as many modifications as you like, and it's the entire thing's free for £2 worth of Nectar points.
Interesting, because I've been sitting on a 9 years worth of Nectar points for a little while.
How much is that? Oh, it's got to be at least 100, right?
What, at least 100 Nectar points?
£100,
Oh.
obviously. Obviously.
Hang on, let me check the app. I think it's a little bit more, but not too.
Really?
Oh crap! I have to fucking log in. I've no idea what my Nectar login is.
I hate when it just logs you out of the app for no reason. What is that about?
What's my Nectar password? Like, what's
Yeah. I genuinely think I must have reset my Nectar account password like 4 or 5 times, because every time it logs me out, I just have no idea. I've said to. It's just quicker to reset it.
Now it's sending me a verification code, but it is logging me in. Okay, so I've got. All right, I'll tell you how many Nectar points I have, and then what a fun game for everyone, and all our viewers can join in this as well.
Comment below your guess right now.
Comment below how much money you think I have in my Nectar account, based on the fact that I have 24,646 Nectar points.
I'm going to say £120 and
oh,
20p.
I'm also going to say that exact amount.
Oh, what? Why do you guys think that specifically?
I think because we know how Nectar points work.
Oh, okay. Well, well, it's actually £123.23. So you both suck.
I was just assuming Oscar would do the maths right.
I had 240,000 and just did that half, and my mistake.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad we figured that out. That'll go in the description when I do end up uploading this. Be like, the trio discussed blah blah blah. How many Nectar points Mike has, and
the exchange rate of the Nectar point exchange rate at the moment.
Yeah. The next point exchange rate, maybe depending on how much of the fajita conversation I got, something about sweet corn, and then
Starry Night's trips to Barcelona. The exchange rate of Nectar point.
Yeah, we should just keep bringing up that Barcelona thing over and over again. So Mike has to include it.
So there's no way around
it. Just telling a Survivor anecdote and be like, well, much like our skunk trip to Barcelona.
So Oscar, when you're all sat in Lenny's room all the time, every time we've got a former Merak tribe member on the podcast, everyone's really vague about what happened in Lenny's room, and we're trying to figure out who was the one that's coming up with all these wacky ideas for all of the crazy things you're going to come down the stairs to parade in front of the Ruba tribe and make them feel sad. You've been pointed out, Oscar, as a key figure within this. Can you finally set the record straight and take the credit for this, or was Strath more involved in this?
I think me and Strath were equally involved in just coming up with random shithousery to come down the stairs.
Okay, there we go. It's finally been solved.
That's much like the Starry Night's destination in Barcelona.
Was part of it strategy, or was it all just let's just make up something funny just to keep ourselves occupied before we go and win another challenge?
I think we were just fucking around, to be honest. Once you go out to Lenny's room so many times, it gets a bit old, really.
That's a nice room.
It's a lovely room, don't get me wrong.
It should have put the Wii with Mario Kart there, really.
Yeah, just switched there, but we didn't want to touch that. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, out of
respects.
Out of respect, all right, fair
Do you
enough.
think someone whose main strategy is loyalty is going to turn on someone else's switch without asking?
Oh,
Lenny?
I think I put it out for people to use.
Well, I didn't realize that. So
Maybe I should have mentioned that.
I cannot remember really what happened in that room.
I just remember that the one time we went up there, in the whole of like the first like 6 or 7 challenges, we just basically all just were so exhausted we just ate our lunch very quietly.
I think we placed some bets, I think, on who would be walking out or who we wouldn't be walking down to.
Oh yeah, did
Oh,
anyone
okay.
surprise you then, Oscar, from the Ruber trial
But
when they got voted off?
Archie, really, I just didn't see that coming,
Yeah.
really. But the first vote, I feel, is just it's a tricky one.
He was so unlucky that Lucy decided to save. Well, she got saved by her advantage, and then decided to save the other person that was going to get votes,
Yeah,
and just left Archie sat next to me, Isaac, and Chris, who had all decided we're going to work together. So
exactly. He just got put in a very unfortunate
yeah,
situation.
I don't think you could be more unlucky.
Oscar, at any point on Merak, did you consider aligning with anyone other than Noel?
No, I don't think it needed to come to that, to be honest. I think once I had one ally, unless other people were wanting to join the alliance, then I didn't really go out seeking other people. Perhaps that was silly. I think I just got quite complacent, really.
If someone had asked you, Oscar, I can see that you're really tight with Noel. Do you mind if I get in on this? Would you have been amenable to that at the time?
Yeah, I feel like if someone genuinely wanted to make the duo a trio, depending on who it was and when it was, I feel like definitely wouldn't have been opposed to it. Much like how me, Lenny, and was it Max in season 1?
Mm.
Yeah, good
Um,
trio.
that
Good
was a great
trio.
trio. It was a great trio.
Yeah, so just a tip for anyone watching, any prospective players, if this ever happens again, ask people to be in alliances, because if you don't ask, then you have no one to be in an alliance with. And
Yeah,
you need to be
Yeah,
in an alliance to have people protecting you, like what
yeah,
Oscar did to Noel constantly throughout the game. And the other thing off the back of that, if you can see that there's people in an alliance and there's a lot of them, and you think, well, I can't really join that alliance because there's too many of them already, then what you need to do is get everyone not in that alliance,
yeah,
and then all of you guys join together, and then you vote out the people that are in the alliance. That's really
yeah,
that. This is lesson one in how to play the game. Okay, so it's as simple as that for anyone watching this. Okay, that's it's as easy as that, and then there's a few strategies based off that, but it all kind of stems from that as like the basis of how to play the game. So Oscar, we have Zal, Strath, and Max voted off in your Merak tribe. Do you have any particular memories of that? The Strath one, obviously, that one's a bit more memorable. We have Noel playing an idol, Ben receiving a couple of votes there as well.
yeah. I mean, it was just sorry to see anyone from the Merit Tribe go because someone from the Merit Tribe going means that we failed a challenge, and that's just that's heartbreaking to. There's no greater disappointment than knowing that you failed a challenge and one of your teammates has to suffer, but not you because you're sided with Noel. But
Well, in that case, Oscar, so as we're approaching the merge, were you planning on sort of vaguely sticking with your Merak tribe, or were you quite happy, like as long as you're with Noel, like you've got players like Lenny and Big Dog that you're going to be joining? Were you sort of interested to see what you could start up with them, or were you sort of under the impression it would be an us versus them sort of mentality?
well, I had a sneaky suspicion that Lenny would be trying to beat Noel, so it was. I think going into the merger, I didn't expect the teams to be so. Although I guess it makes sense for them to be so aligned with the tribes. But I don't know if the rest of our tribe was wanting to stay. I mean, Strath was basically part of the other tribe, and that meant that our whole tribe was essentially outvoted at that point. Once Strafford changed his allegiances, we
But
were.
I mean, you guys could pull Will, which is what you did sort of end up doing.
I think it was just a tricky mid game, basically. Um, Trying to make sure that we had the numbers. I think we tried to stick with our team when we went into it. Yeah, I just don't think we had the numbers there and got swallowed up. Once Null was gone, it left me as a sitting duck basically, as the rest of Merrick had like got their alliances, and then with core one gone, it was. I kind of knew it was over before, like as soon as we lost that, like as soon as we went into that round, I could just kind of feel it that it was
Yeah.
that was going to be it.
It's a bleak position to be in, really, when your main man's gone and
Yeah.
you're basically just waiting for death.
Exactly, because everyone, all the other alliances, are just kind of they know like it's easier to target that single person as opposed to targeting each other when you know the votes aren't really going to come through unless it's yeah. I was ashamed that basically, and I knew my time was up.
But I mean, surely you can use that as leverage. You can say, like, look how good an ally I am. Like, I knew Noel was going, or you can claim that you knew Noel was going, but you still stayed loyal to him. You just find the person that you think has the most power at the time and be like, let me do that for you now. Now we can be our own little duo. Like, I'm freed up now. Noel's gone. Like, surely you could have pitched that to someone.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and I don't. I think the problem was is that a lot of people had already formed smaller alliances and what didn't want. But yeah, I think I probably could have played that card a bit more, but I could tell from the conversation I was having with people that it was I think people's minds had already been made up.
Watching it back, I can't believe I didn't try and team up with you again. What was I thinking not to? We could have brought it back. We could have run it back.
I think it was just the whole
Oh,
maybe you'd confuse me with Noel after so many rounds of the two being blurred, and you needed to get it completely off the table.
What were your thoughts on you got to the merge and suddenly Ben was this huge target? Did that kind of feel earned based on what happened at Merak, or was this just a massive surprise that Ruba were really gunning for him specifically?
Unless there's specifically someone who you should be trying to get out there. Once someone's floated an idea, it's quite easy to just say, yeah, I agree. And then soon that's gone around half the people. And I don't think he had this like super strong alliances either. So I think once the name's floated around and everyone kind of feels it's a safe name, you're all still in. You don't have to do too much thinking. I think that's again partially why maybe I got voted out because everyone's kind of thinking it's an easy round to stay in for an extra one. The name's floated up. There's no allies. It's an easy vote.
Going into the merge, who did you want to work with? If you had your pick, who would you have wanted to work with from either tribe?
I mean, everyone could see how strong the big dog Divya Isaac alliance was growing. But then also, I had fond memories of my ally Lenny from season one. So I think those two would have probably been the ones I would have gone down, the routes I would have gone down.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you go on the Scoops trip with Noel and Lenny. Presumably you were hoping that something could come from that?
I forgot about that. That was incredible. That was lovely. Yeah, I think that was my aim was something would happen from that, but it turned out to just be a lovely trip.
it was a lovely trip. I was so happy to get to go to Scoops. That is, just finished the Pizza Hut as well, and like,
Yeah.
oh, it's unbelievable.
I don't know, maybe I thought it would be repaid, but alas, it was not.
Yeah, if
But I
you
don't
came
think
to my Scoops, I would have laid my body down for you on day two.
Oh, I forgot. And Big Dog had the date with Holly as well. The
Yeah.
dinner. That was what a season. What a season.
What what a game.
What a game.
Was there anyone you were targeting at all at the merge, Oscar? If they'd have said, Oscar, who do you want to take out? And you just have your pick on anyone, assuming no one else has won immunity, who would you have wanted out of the game straight away?
The weak link Ben Roberts.
Okay.
Though I mean, if it was a free choice with no, well, the problem is all the like strongest people were all in alliances, hence why they were the strongest people. So you pick for you go for one of them, you put a target on your back as soon as that's over, unless you're successful. Straff was a wild card, but it was fun. And yeah, like I said, I wonder if the world that where I took him up on his offer, and I'd gone down that route.
Why did you not end up taking that deal with Strath in the end?
Because I couldn't betray my own word, Mike. I said that I was not going to. So I didn't want to go against what I'd said. I didn't want to.
Who was your word to? What you told Strath you wouldn't go with him, and then you didn't want to break that to Strath?
No, I think Straff wanted me to do something.
He wanted you to vote for Will that round.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really know. There was a strong moral reason which I was weighing up and decided that I couldn't betray and do it. But yeah, even though it turned out that Will didn't even get, he either protected himself or like didn't even get remotely voted off, so it would have been a guilt-free vote as well, and no
Yeah,
one
it
would have
wouldn't have
known I
mattered,
would.
but you ended up having to get up and leave that tribal council anyway, so you wouldn't have casted a vote then, as it turned out.
Yeah, I think that would have been the biggest change up switch up if I'd done that differently.
Do you think had you made that deal with Strath, then in this episode you would have been able to team up and get the vote onto Sock, or do you think it would have always been you?
But no, I do think that if I'd teamed up with Straff, because I think Straff was one of the, I think he was coming for me because I hadn't done that, which is fair enough. Like I knew I could hear the rumors flying around that I was one of Straff's big targets. So in hindsight, I should have gone. If I'd been playing the game, I should have really gone with Straff, and I think that would have been a very interesting ally to have. Um, but alas, I did not.
And I've got one final question for you, Oscar, before we jump into the episode. Um,
Mhm.
do you have any former tribe mates that you'd like to? I thought I'd give you the opportunity. If you've got any former tribe mates that you'd like to roast or give us any hot takes on, like we saw last week, then if you've got anything now.
God, Ben Roberts, that guy, he's just no, lovely guy. It's not a hot take, but I very much underestimated Holly, and I think Holly was playing a very good game. And I was very impressed by it.
All right, shout out to Holly then. Um, right, let's jump into the episode then. I mean, I will say, you gave us a lot of credit at the start of the episode, Oscar, for the challenges this season. I will say this one probably a lower point. Um, not as good this episode.
No.
I'll happily admit.
The
Um,
word shit has been thrown around.
yeah,
In a
it's
lot of
better than it was in
places.
season one. It was a very
Mm.
similar challenge, but yeah, I will say just from my side uh when I formulated the challenge, I wanted to have something similar to season one so people could like try and game it again like they did in season one, but instead of having three different versions of the same thing, like say this different phrase backwards, I thought let's incorporate the basketball challenge from season one. So let's have one group do that. Let's have one group do some kind of like mental sort of spelling backwards kind of thing. And then the third one I can't remember what it was originally, but quite close up to the season, I was planning challenges and various other things with Veronica. And then she happened to mention that she had all of these like bingo cards. And I was like, this is like the perfect like troll challenge just to throw in there, just to like really, because obviously in season one there was like complete chance challenge as well. So it was
Mhm.
really kind of a hat tip to all of season one actually, in those three individual parts of the challenge. Having said that, do you think there's any kind of way that you can game this challenge, Lenny? Because obviously, you choose where you are in the order, so you end up picking what you're going to do.
No, I don't think you can. You can't game it by choosing your number. I don't know. You can't cheat a game of bingo, can you?
Yeah, do we have anything to say on the challenge? We got
Yeah, what a basketball shot from me. Stair necessities. You don't see that hit every day, but nothing but net. Unbelievable.
It was very impressive.
Did you like
Redemption for myself.
how I slow-moed it as one of the transition clips?
Yeah, I mean, I want to see that every episode, surely. Moment of the season.
Before every time Lenny speaks on the podcast, it's just a slow mo of him doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been pretty good in the challenges since the merge. I feel like I've been immune. Everyone apart from that like stupid bag one. All the proper challenges I'm immune for. What a competitor.
Well, long may it continue. Although, yeah, you have reminded me, like, I suddenly discovered a load more like videos and stuff on my phone for all of like the transition clips. So we might get a few more new ones. We got us
I
at
was
Dragonello.
really enjoying them
That was in there.
in the latest episodes. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'd never seen that go-karting picture.
Yeah, we had when we went go-karting. You must have been there, Oscar, surely.
Yeah, I must have been. I definitely
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
Like, what's the picture?
It was in one of the transition shots. It's like all of us stood on the podium. Um,
I feel like you need to make some sort of folder of all your skunks photos, Mike, because you've got so many.
Can you do one of the transitions as Straff and Max wearing the exact same outfit by
Oh
accident, and they both turn
Yeah.
up?
That is one of my favourite photos of all time.
I'll find the photo.
I'll find it. Just send it to you right now. I think it might be just my favourite photo that I've.
So funny.
Yeah, what was the other transition one I had? Oh, us singing on the coach. That was another one.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that. I don't think I have any of those.
Oh, I've got loads of them. Most of them, like the singing is okay, but this one was specifically was I was like, I've got to include this one. This is classic chandelier. Oscar,
Did
I've
you
got
get
quite a few clips of you boxing Big Dog actually.
Did I make him bleed by accident? What was that archery? I can't remember.
I can't remember. I remember you just being quite good and it was quite worrying.
Maybe I should have taken. If only you'd had a Survivor challenge as boxing. If I could have fought someone to stay on, that would have been great.
Was like a little redemption challenge.
Yeah, just throw people in the ring outside in the garden.
But this is us at the is this one for all of the viewers.
Yeah, it's a great little gang in there, really.
Like what an absolute squad that was, to be fair. Like shout out to Jonathan Wang as well.
I was about to say the exact same thing. What a guy! Oh, Sam Northway's there. Fair play. Fair play.
Big
Oh. When was this? Was this at a social or something?
This is a Fast and Furious evening, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just completely by chance, they just turned up in the exact same outfit. And then halfway through the night, we were just like, hang on, why are you guys just dressed the exact same?
I don't think I've ever seen either of them wearing that on any other occasion. That's so funny.
I'm excited to see that make it as a transition.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Please.
The ones that are the video clips were best. Yeah, actually, if either of you have any video clips from that time, then or of any
I'll have a look.
any
I
players in
do.
the season, yeah, send them to me. And
I've got a video of me scoring a Callahan if you want that for its transition.
I've got a video of me doing a terrible front flip into a pool, if you want.
that I think should just be in there, personally.
yeah, that's the exact kind of thing that it would just be really funny just to have in there.
Yeah.
I can dig it out.
I feel like you've showed me something before with like you and your brother, like either like tackling him into a pool.
Oh, I think that is literally it. I'm pretty sure it's just on the throwing and fitness chat, like when we were in Hawaii.
Yes, yeah.
That's it. That's one of the all-time great throwing and fitness posts.
I don't know if I'm able to download that, but
if not, I can send it to you.
What a time that was, by the way, when that group was popping off.
No, that was so much fun. Genuinely, fourth year Skunks was just incredible. Like Fast and Furious and Survivor. We had the throwing and fitness group was popping off.
Five-a-side.
Oh my god. What a time to be alive.
You're not matching that. There's nothing you can do.
You can't. That is the peak.
I don't know. I've heard some of the freshers this year are getting in on the throwing a fitness group actions, so I'm sure it'll be as lively as it was. We'll all be posting videos in there again, I'm sure, very soon.
It's always tempting when you've done a bit of exercise. Sometimes you have a thought, well, I could make a fitness post.
I really have not been doing enough exercise recently to ever warrant that. Maybe soon.
I've got some volleyball tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you have to.
Where are you volleyballing?
In a leisure centre near Canary Wharf.
Where do you live now?
I live like southeast London now.
No, full address for the podcast, please.
What underground station are you at? Because my sister used to live at Canada Water, which was vaguely near Canary Wharf.
Oh, nice. No, I'm not near like an tube station anymore, but I'm near a national rail station. St. John's is the nearest one, which is near Lewisham. But yeah, it's lovely.
Is that near St. John's Wood?
It's not near St. John's Wood. Usually I lead with that. and then have to explain that it's not actually St. John, because everyone's always like, "Oh, St. John's Wood, nice," and I'm like, "It's
Is
not
that
that one."
is that different? Are they just completely different places?
Yeah, St. John's is like southeast. St. John's Wood is like West London, I think,
Right.
or like centrally west.
I feel like Lord's Cricket Ground's near St John's Wood, but got no idea. That's not actually not where you live, so I don't know why I've
No,
said
it's
that.
not. It's not. But
That's good. We've
but
ascertained where you don't live.
exactly.
One of the primary schools we had a football rivalry with was called St John's.
Oh, really? Was it this
Yeah.
one? They come down from Southwest London every week to Portsmouth.
I don't think so, but we played some big games against them in the Surf League. I'll tell you that.
Did you win? Did you come
Yeah,
out
of
on top?
course. Fairfield's
Nice.
on top, mate.
Course.
Obviously.
Right, I'll wrestle us back onto Survivor then. Interestingly, we see perhaps for the first time in Survivor Southampton history, a deal is struck up during the challenge. Lenny, you were having some words with Strath, and we really didn't pick up too much in the footage, and I did my best to capture what we did have. Can you speak a little bit more to what you can recall from those conversations you're having with Strath?
Yeah, so basically I was saying in my mind, we've got Divya, we've got Isaac, we've got Chris. They're a strong three. And I'm in there. I could survive quite a while with them at my side, but I'm thinking they're going to turn on me at some point. And well, I was talking to Strath, and basically we're trying to cook up a plan with him where we strike first. And yeah, so I was mainly talking to him about what we would do, when we would do it. So we weren't planning on doing it this round. I was saying we'll wait for when there's like 9 people left, or when the opportunity feels right. And then we were sort of talking about who we could persuade to join us. But your name didn't come up, Oscar, so you had to
I
go.
feel like I would have happily have joined that. That would
I
have been
know. Looking
that would have
back,
been a
we
showdown for the
should
ages.
we could have had you, and Strath working together. If you take his deal the round before,
If I hadn't betrayed if I not betrayed Straff, but if I'd taken his deal, I think it would be a completely different game.
yeah, poor Sock probably gets voted off, and the three of us go on to final three probably.
Yeah, more importantly, I get at least one more challenge I get to play.
Oh, the next challenge is my favourite, I think. I don't know when it comes out on video, but it was exciting at the time.
I think it's come out quite
I
well.
loved it.
I think I've edited it in a better way where it's easier to follow than how I did it with the Mole Key challenge in season 1.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, it's Molky, so it's going to be good. Is that a spoiler for next episode? Was that in the next time?
No, we saw that it was involving Mole Key.
Okay.
We go to the strategy section and we see Strath still has this idle clue and he's still not showing anyone. What do we think about this? Is this good strategy from Strath to promise people that next round they're going to get to see it, or are people just going to start calling his bluff like we see Lucy doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's working for him, but I don't know why he hasn't actually just looked at it himself in private. Like, I know you have to be a man of your word, but you could just. I'm assuming you could just close it back up again, right? And then just look at it, find the idol, give out the clue.
Yeah, but then Lenny, I don't know how you'd play the rest of the game with the weight of the guilt on you.
Lying gives me absolutely zero guilt in this game. I would have, if it was me, and I promised that, I would have looked at it and done my best to find the idol secretly.
Do we know where that idol was? Or
I think you have to check out next episode, mate.
I think so.
But yeah, you can maybe work it out from the clue on the next time.
The teaser definitely suggested that Strath would be sharing the clue with various players who we saw people were looking for it at least in the next episode. So the suggestion is that Strath ends up sharing it. I'd like to go back to so Oscar, you were saying that how can you live with the guilt of doing this? But surely the game of Survivor, you're expecting everyone to lie and backstab and whatever. So you're not going to hold it against them after the game, or do you?
I've never been able to forgive Lenny. No,
To be
no,
Lenny
no,
didn't
of
vote you
course.
out.
No, I know. No, it's all part of the game. I understand. I wouldn't base anyone's true merit based on their actions in Survivor.
So would it not therefore be more advantageous? Because if you're going into the game being like, well, I'm not going to lie or backstab or anything, and we see that Strath's kind of getting to a similar position now, where eventually you're going to have to like break deals with people just to get to a point where like you've got this far in the game, but maybe you've got deals with everyone. You're going to have to start breaking deals with some people. But like if everyone else has given themselves the permission to do that, then it's the players that are saying, "Oh, I'm just going to be honest," that are going to be the players that will always get voted off after a
Yeah.
certain point.
Yeah, it's a. I think you have to play it right, and you have to also get lucky if you want to take that strategy to the end. And like I said, I always knew something would have to change. I was kind of just waiting to see what, essentially. In hindsight, probably not the best idea. But at the same time, by sticking to that philosophy, it meant that when I finally did get voted off, I didn't have regrets as in like, oh, I wish I hadn't backstabbed or I wish I hadn't done this or whatever, because I'd played true to my game, if that makes sense. When I got voted off, I wasn't mad about it and thinking, oh, if I hadn't have betrayed this person or, oh, I regret doing that. I felt like when I left, I felt like I had had my fun and I'd had my time, and I didn't feel like I had been wronged in some way or backstabbed for backstabbing or anything.
I'm going to say it. The people who play the game honestly are the biggest losers out there. Live a little, just lie a little bit, have some fun.
That is true.
How often do you get the opportunity to screw people over? Yeah.
No, this is very true. Season 3, watch out.
Yeah, I feel like if you're ever to play again, Oscar, you just like everyone's going to come in being like Oscar's just going to like stick to his word, all that crap. Just like really try and screw people over. I think
you're in such a good position where you can just pretend to ally with like so many people, and they'll actually believe you, and then you can just walk all over them, and it'd be beautiful. I'm playing your role though because no one believes me anymore, so I'm just going to find one person and do my absolute best to stick by them no matter what.
No,
yeah, you got to pick the most unlikely person, like a Sorensen or someone, and be like, I'm just going to really die hard. Back
me and Sorensen right to the end.
Yeah, whatever random decisions they come up with, I'm really going to back.
Look, guys, I know he got to the game late, but that's no reason to vote him out. Let's judge it on gameplay
only. I know he was having lunch with his friend,
but from what I heard, it was a really nice lasagna, so you wouldn't want to pass that up either, would you?
He's only human.
You've got Noel desperately throwing a challenge because Sorensen's on his team, but then you've got Lenny desperately throwing the challenge on the other team to keep Sorensen safe.
It's after 6 consecutive losses, and Lenny declares his love for Sorensen and how he's willing to do anything to stay by his side.
Maybe that's how loyal Will was to Noel. He was throwing every tribe challenge in season 2 to keep Noel safe.
Maybe it was nothing to do with me. Maybe it was just Will the entire time, puppet strings behind.
If Will had run to you and Noel at the merge and was just like, do you know what, guys? I threw every single challenge. I got myself voted out just so I come back in the game and work with you guys. How incredible would that have been?
If he comes up to us and leads with, guys, did you notice what I've done for you?
I'll tell you what, I would have been so pissed as the host to find out he'd actually been throwing all of them.
That's elite strategy, Mike. You can't be annoyed at that.
He actually was the friend making lasagna with Sorensen just to turn up late. There's levels to this shit.
I mean, in terms of the strategy, like I've got a few different notes about different things that come up, but I think that the main crux is that you have 3 players that are up for elimination. You have Sock, Oscar, and Strath. However, it seems as though you've got Big Dog, who is desperately trying to keep Sock in the game. What do we think of this?
I think this is probably why we ended up voting out Oscar, is because I desperately wanted to keep Strath because he was my new best bud. Big Dog desperately wanted to keep Sock, and then you unfortunately with the the odd
Stuck
one
between
out.
the two.
Um,
If
I'm
only
not,
Noel was still in the game and he would have kept Oscar.
but I don't really know why Big Dog was so keen to keep Sock. I guess he just his. I guess it's Sock doesn't seem like much of a threat at this point. So,
Yeah, I mean
or
that's what Big Dog says in the confessional. I think we'll have to when we eventually get him on. I think that'll be a big question that we have for him as to why he felt like Sock needed to stay there. So Lenny, why was it Strath that you were having these conversations with in order to keep, and why not Oscar? Was it because you felt like maybe Strath had an in with like Will and Lucy from the Redemption? Is it because he had an idol clue? Like, is it because he was claiming he was honest? What was it?
do you know what, Mike? It's probably because I was just stood next to him at that challenge. If I was stood next to Oscar, I think I probably would have just done the same thing with him. I think it's just I wanted to do it, and I saw a good opportunity in the most boring bingo game. Well, I guess all bingo games are quite boring, but the one of the only ones I've witnessed. So very boring. A lot of time to chat. If Oscar was there instead, I think I probably would have just talked to him because yeah, I was looking for someone out of probably one of those two. Maybe I don't think I could have done that with Sock. I don't know. I feel like he would have just told everyone before the end of the challenge.
Immediately gone back to Big Dog.
But yeah, I think it was just because I was stood next to him. So if Oscar picked a better number,
Yeah.
could have been me and him.
If I picked a better number, I could have been immune in that challenge and had an alliance. But that's the way
Yeah, well,
it
obviously, you wouldn't have been immune because I would have won the basketball challenge.
goes. Well, Lenny,
Obviously,
I mean, well, you did play you did turn up for 5 a.m. basketball, so
oh yeah, that was great.
which we
That was great.
agreed as the Survivor episode. 'Cause we were all
Oh, was
just
that
like,
literally the morning after the
it
second
was
day?
it was actually in the morning of the second day.
That was incredible.
We were sat in your like conservatory bit, and we were all like, "Oh, basketball tomorrow morning." And then Straff had work in London at 7, and so we were like, "Oh, it's calm. We'll just play at 6:30. We'll just play at 6 instead." 6 wasn't early enough, so we agreed on 5:30. And the next thing I know, I'm picking up Isaac at 5:30 in the morning and driving to the basketball court.
Who was it? Was it you, Isaac, Erin, Strath?
I
Yeah.
know that, well, Big Dog
What a
planned on
crew!
going because I saw a clip as I was editing it earlier of Big Dog walking up to Oscar, who was filming, and saying, "You still on for 5 a.m. basketball?"
It was
It was
incredible.
unreal. It
You
was
know,
so good.
couldn't ask for a better group to spend your 5 a.m. with down by St Denny's Community Centre.
I remember doing it and then it absolutely killing me for the rest of the day. 'Cause you come back and just sleep and then you're wrecked for the rest of the day. But wow, it was worth it. It was so worth
Yeah,
it.
that was probably the peak of my summer. That like 5 day period where we had the Winchester Survivor Season 2 5 a.m. basketball. God,
What a time.
what a time!
Excellent moments there. Oscar, can you tell us a bit about your relationship with Divya and also with Holly? Because we see a few confessionals from Divya over the last couple of episodes. She wants to keep you and have you as an ally. Were you aware of this at the time?
I don't think so. Otherwise, I feel like I may have played into it more. Honestly, I don't remember interacting with Divya that much. But clearly she saw what I could do for Noel and thought, I want a piece of that. I think Holly had another alliance within the Merak tribe. So I think it kind of split into me and Noel and then the others. And they had a strong tribe. They had a strong alliance there, which I don't think I was going to win over per se. Um, I think they had already sort of seen I'd sided with Noel, and I don't think it was. I would have had to have weaseled my way back in.
Lenny, something else that I noticed from this strategy section. Let's talk a little bit about Sock. As we do every week now, it seems to be a segment where we talk about what ridiculous things Sock's been doing in this episode. So we have two great Sock moments. First of all, he tells Strath that he wants him out to his face, and then he throws Holly's name out to Oscar and Isaac. Nothing really comes of it, and then he then tells Holly separately that he tried to throw her name out there and it didn't gain any traction. What do we think about this?
Um,
It's a mastermind, really.
I guess in terms of his control the narrative on that. It's better than, I guess it's better than someone else going to Holly and saying Sock was throwing his name out. It definitely, doing something like that, definitely in my eyes, if I'm hearing that, it definitely just completely lowers Sock's threat level in my head. You're not thinking this man is masterminding any plans. So I feel like it's probably done him a little bit of good in that round. So that it's got Big Dog thinking, let's just keep him in. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have played it the exact same.
Another underrated sock line from the episode is at the end when he's speaking to Big Dog and Holly, and he's trying to justify again why he decided to throw Holly's name out. Where he says that when he feels as if he's in trouble, he'll bring up anyone's name. For Big Dog, who's been trying to protect him all episode, is this a huge red flag? What do we think of that?
Yeah, but it's fine because Big Dog will find out when Doc immediately comes and tells him about 2 minutes later. But he is one of the best people to watch, though.
But he's got his own segment, so
yeah, fantastic entertainment.
What do we think of Strath this round? Strath, another incorrect read from Strath. He seemed to be fairly sure that he was going to go to the point where he gives his idol clue to Will. Lenny, was this surprising?
Yeah, I mean, I guaranteed him his safety. So the guy clearly didn't believe me when I said I was going to do all I can to keep him in. Could have given that clue to me as well, bastard.
Oscar, what do you think? So, of all of the people in the game that Strath picks to trust here, he chooses Will, who's the one player remaining in the game after this vote that tried to vote him out. a couple of episodes before. Even Sock didn't vote for him in that episode, but Will still did.
I guess it's such a bold move that no one would even think of it. It's I don't know. When you put it like that, Mike, it's quite hard to defend the logic. It's
okay. I've put Strath in a bad position here. Yeah, just a bad read from Strath. Oscar, what do you think about Lucy's game so far? So we see that she seems to be successfully downplaying this alliance that we have with Sock, which she clearly believes in, given that she gave him the safety without power in the previous episode. What do you think of her game at the point at which you left?
I mean, I think it was pretty solid. I think a lot of the people at the point I was leaving, I didn't think really there was anyone in the Aruba tribe that was under threat per se. I think the people who sort of stuck together through thick and thin before the merger, I think there was definitely some level of alliance there between all of them, and there wasn't that level of alliance between the Merrick tribe, who was a bit more split. So I think she just played by getting to that point. I think she played a good game to get there, and then from there she was sort of she didn't have a target on her back, so I think she played it well.
Yeah, I mean, surely she's in quite a good spot going forward because Lenny called her out as someone to potentially recruit into this alliance to take out the core of Ruba. So it looks like if people are going to take any shots at Ruba, they'll be going for like the big dogs and the Isaacs. Like it seems like Lucy's going to be pretty safe for a little while.
Yeah, definitely. Like the obvious target is if you're taking a shot at Ruby, you're going to take a shot at Big Dog before they get too big.
Right, I think this pretty much takes us into Tribal. The only real note that I had here is that everyone hyping up Big Dog. Is he cruising to an easy win? What's our thoughts on this at the moment?
He's the biggest dog.
He was just Big Dog. Yeah,
he's definitely in control, isn't he? People fear him. People listen to him.
People respect him.
People are scared to try and vote him out.
If you mess with Big Dog, you've doomed yourself, really.
Right, let me see if I can share the votes for this episode. Oscar, you've actually been the most outvoted of anyone. You're tied with Noel, but it's a bit more of a landslide given there's few people in the game. So as we can see, we have Lenny ends up voting for Sock. Lenny, can you tell us a bit about that decision?
I just didn't want to vote out my boy, to be honest.
Sock and Oscar voting for Strath. Both of you appear to cite pinky promises in your confessional. Was this something that went down off camera, Oscar?
What with Sock?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, we just pinky promised to vote for Strath, and yeah, I can't remember why it happened or how, but look, a pinky promise. That's a pinky promise is a pinky promise, and I'm happy to see
But
that Sock followed through.
if 1 minute before the vote, Oscar, I came to you and said, if you vote Sock, you'll stay in, and if you don't, you go out, would you have broken that pinky promise?
We don't need to dwell on that because it didn't happen. So we don't ever have to know.
Let's never ask a hypothetical question in our lives.
But yeah, in terms of the vote, no.
The thing is, I wouldn't unless you could guarantee to me that
Yeah,
was.
no, it'd be a guarantee.
But how would I know that it's a guarantee?
Oh, if I'm telling you, Oscar, it's a guarantee.
This is true. I don't know. I think it would be a case of I'd probably still vote alongside the pinky promise and then regret it afterwards. I think is how it would
You regret it from the jury.
And then I'd see this spreadsheet and it would make like a year and a bit on, and it would make me very much regret my decision. And would teach me some valuable lessons for the next season.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of spreadsheet, nothing unusual from this episode other than the Lenny vote. Everyone, all of the Ruba tribe fall into line voting Oscar. Yeah, Holly alongside them as well. And then the only dissenters are Oscar himself, Sock, and Lenny, who vote elsewhere. Oh yeah, I will say with the vote itself, there's a bit of a jarring cut where everyone's suddenly laughing when I read out the vote. That's because I miscounted the votes, and yeah, that one was on me.
What did you miscount? Or
I read out, I think, the fifth vote for Oscar or something like that, and then Oscar was just like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm out then." He stands up, and I wasn't ready for that because I hadn't said the next player voted off. So I think from what I can remember, I made you sit back
Did I
down.
just stand up?
I think you stand up and started
That
walking
seems
over to me, and I was like,
unlikely.
"Hang on, I haven't called it yet." Sit back down, and then. And then you're like, "What? I've been voted off," and I was like, "No, maybe there's a chance that you aren't." And then I did the math, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, you definitely are." I should have said it on this vote rather than the next one. And then I read out the next one, and everyone was just like, "What the fuck?"
What? I'm gone. That's insane.
So yeah, that was why there's a bit of an odd reaction to it, from like the fourth vote to the fifth vote.
well, I'd say one word comes to mind when you think of Oscar's game this season.
I mean, I could think of two ways of going.
Coward. You were disgrace.
I was waiting for that.
No, I you've proved again that you're just one of the nicest men out there. You know, honest, true to your words, and I regret not trying to make you my ally because
Just
yeah,
wait for
you
season
would have
12.
followed me to the end. I respect it. I know I don't have the capacity to do what you did over 2 seasons. So yeah, got a lot of respect for that.
I think the tribe format is really made for your game, Oscar. I think it allows you to carry your team deep into the season. I think you could have. I think it was very smart you getting into an alliance with Noel. Like it's what everyone should do, and the fact that there was essentially only one alliance officially on Merak was a bit ridiculous. So I'd hope that if we do future seasons, then we see more people taking that path because it's the way to play the game. I would have liked to have seen a bit more like wheeling and dealing from you, just like take advantage of the fact that you're going to be safe in that tribe format to try and get an alliance behind you coming into the merge. And I think, yeah, you struggled after you lost Noel as to sort of how to reposition yourself within a tribe, which, arguably had a lot of players targeting you. So I think you were sort of the last player on the list of a lot of people's hit lists, essentially. Like they wanted to take out Noel, they wanted to take out Ben, then they wanted to take out you, and then like Sock's next on the list, sure, but he's got an in with Lucy, Holly's got a bit of an in with Big Dog, so I think you were just kind of the last player sticking out, and unfortunately you weren't stood next to Lenny in that challenge, and therefore
Yeah.
it seems that's what caused Strath to survive instead of you, which may be to the detriment of Lenny's game. We'll find out in future episodes, but I think definitely a shining light on Merak in the tribe portion of the game, 100%. Um, yeah, we had a lot of shower confessionals from you as well. Was that a specific any specific reason for that?
I just, it became a spot really, and I think everyone just finds a spot, and you just rush back there each time. And apparently the shower was my safe space. Uh, no, I just really enjoyed the challenges. Really, I think that's just the highlight for me was just playing all the challenges and yeah, the thrill when you're just an undefeatable tug of war, an undefeatable tugger. Um,
You can tug anyone off.
I can tug anyone.
Oh, should we talk about if it was a smart move or if anyone messed up this episode? I mean, I think Lenny in particular will sort of if the whole idea was you wanted to keep Strath in the game in order to fulfill this plan, I feel like we can't really say too much about that until we see what the result of
Yeah.
that actually is.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll see what I can pull off. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It seems like probably good for Strath if Oscar's coming after him. Everyone else it seems like fairly neutral for, maybe with the exception of Divya, who did want to work with you. Maybe she should have pushed harder to keep you.
yeah. I think there were two angles I could have taken. There was the Lenny alliance, and there was trying getting with the big dog and Divya alliance, but I went for neither, and and paid the price.
At the point at which you're voted out, um, who did you think the next two people to follow you would be, and who did you think the final two would be?
The two people next to follow, I think, would have been probably the other two names that were floating around in that round in Sock and Strath. And in terms of the final two, I knew Big Dog was definitely going to be one of them. I think I was probably expecting a Big Dog Lenny showdown
Ooh, what for the
I
final
fucking
two?
hope so.
for the final two. Yeah,
Wow. As a juror now, what are you looking for to vote for to win?
just pure honesty, really. No, I was just looking for someone who'd played the game well. Like I had it, whether it was honest or not, I was just looking for someone who'd just done a remarkable display. A big play is, I think, what I wanted to see.
Right, so that just leaves us with this week's episode title. I've got a couple here. We can decide if any of them are better than the best competitor, which is what I decided upon because I thought it was I was aiming the whole episode to be a big fake out with of Strath leaving when actually it ends up that he ends up staying. And also it was a little subtle nod to Oscar, who I think was arguably the actual best competitor in the challenges. Um, but other quotes we had were "snake in the Ruba," which was this episode. That's what Will said about Lenny. We have
He said it. He said it twice in 2 rounds. The bastard.
no, he actually said it only once this round. I thought he said it in the last episode, but that's just I was
Okay.
editing this one, so that's my bad. Oh, Lenny, I was going to ask you about that. At one point, you say, "Guys, if let's vote out Oscar, not Strath. If it goes wrong," and then you kind of pause, and then normally you say, "If it goes wrong, vote me out," but you say, "If it goes wrong, I'll apologise," which I think is a good way of absolving yourself. We also had the Max Berline classic of he's talking about his knob.
That was incredibly funny because it was perfectly shot for that joke as well.
Got a sock saying the higher powers have turned on me, and we've got Strath saying I'm okay with my demons. So there was quite a lot of potential there.
Stock puts out at least one absolute classic every round. It's incredible.
I've edited the next one. He's got the most ridiculous confessional coming up. Like,
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah,
It's so good.
We'll definitely be talking about that next week. Right, so Oscar, this brings us on to Fan Corner, which is, of course, what we do every episode. I take to the streets and I find out what the fans think about the episode. So let's see what hot takes we've got this week. Let's see if it raises any topics that we might have glossed over. People liking me as a bingo caller, so thanks to all the fans out there. That goes back to my experience volunteering at the old people's home. So.
Be your next job now the PhD's done.
Yeah, true.
Go back.
Oh, everyone getting a big kick out of stair necessities. So yeah, of
Wait till they
course.
see the chair necessities.
Yeah, yeah. Big Dog is gearing up to turn on Lenny sooner than I thought. Wow. Yeah, we're starting to get some of the players sizing up each other for the end game, I think. That blow off on Divya was cold, Strath, cold. Man didn't even turn round. Yeah, that's pretty savage when I think that was when he was talking to Lucy and Will, and he was just like, "Yeah, 2 minutes, Divya."
Oh yeah, that was good.
Pretty brutal there. I think it happens again next episode, so keep your eyes open for those. Sock might be onto something, turning this into Strath v Oscar rather than Oscar v Sock, because if Sock goes, good God, the one-liner potential of the series will fall off a cliff. Yeah, that's what we just said as well, really. Oh, if it goes wrong, I'll apologize. Will you fuck?
They know me so well.
Lenny and Strath went hard on this. I respect it. Yeah, I don't think we've seen anyone put in this much of a shift to keep players in the game since Oscar was keeping Noel in the game in Merak.
Yeah, I learned from the best.
Big Dog again with the brutal honesty. Yeah, he's keeping up that strategy. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Lenny, you're ready to get rid of Big Dog. Fuck yeah, this will be very exciting. Sorry, Big Dog. I'm buzzing for the showdown. Yeah, everyone excited for the drama that could be getting
There you go.
started. Strath, I don't know if you can play the bribery card a second time if you absolutely did not pay up the first time. Sad thing is, maybe Oscar could have been an ally in the coming fight against Big Dog, but to save Strath, he has to go. Yeah, this is what we were saying as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, sad to see him go.
That's the game.
Uh,
Sorry, Oscar.
Holly, I think, is viewing things very short term and not looking forward to how things will shake out when the alliance starts to crumble. I don't usually say the right thing. Oh, people were enjoying that was a Lucy quote from Tribal Council. Yeah, do we have anything more to say on that? Lucy claiming that she keeps trying to make an alliance with Big Dog, but it keeps not happening.
Just quite funny. Their little dynamic, those two, is great.
Oh, Strath absolutely not letting this blatant sucking up to Big Dog stand. God bless. Oh yeah, cruising for a bruising was almost the episode title as well. That's a good one. Oh yeah, and obviously people upset that Oscar left. Oh, and then a few comments on the karaoke. And I will say on the karaoke, most of them were quite good. That one was particularly bad, which felt like it earned its way into the episode just because it was fun. Yeah, well, that brings us to the end of this week's Fan Corner. Anyone have any final thoughts on the season so far?
It was just a good run up to this point, but I think this is where it starts to get very interesting.
Yeah, it's all going to kick off from next episode, I think. It's kind of the beginning of the end game, I would say, is next episode. Lenny, you going to give the audience a little teaser for next episode, which will probably come out like the day after the podcast anyway.
Yeah, well, you know, you're going to see the former bad boy of Mulkey in action for one. I mean, that is big. Not every day do you get to see him step onto the Mulkey pitch. But yeah, I think it's getting real. The game's getting real, and that £100 is becoming more of a real possibility for people left. Yeah, it's quite exciting from this point on. Is that a good teaser?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm very much looking forward to next episode. I feel like the strategy in particular is I feel like it stepped up this episode when you have people are no longer happy to just let players leave. Like whoever goes from now on, people are going to be fighting to keep them. So yeah, it's definitely going to step up even further from next episode and will continue to for the rest of the season. Oscar, thank you so much for being so generous with your time tonight and providing your insight into the season and joining us in this deep dive of the Oscar 2.0 game. Lenny, as ever, thank you for accompanying me on this stroll down memory lane of episode 13.
You're very welcome.
Well, yeah. Well, Lenny, I'll see you next week, and yeah, hopefully you continue to survive. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you very much, Lenny. See you later.